Hi, I'm Jill from June Taylor with another innovative solution. Did you ever want to join your quilt blocks that are made quilt as you go? Now we have a perfect way to do that with our Sash and a Dash. It's pre-sewn sashing. It's sold by the yard in 7 colors with matching binding. Open the casing and nest your quilt block inside the casing. And then we're just going to run a top stitch down the edge. Take your next block, open the casing, and just do the same thing. To join rows, we're going to do the same thing, only we're going to run our Sash and a Dash across the row. You can run a beautiful embroidery stitch down here to embellish Sash and a Dash, or you can even put a strip of fabric down here. Here's an example where we added a fabric strip by folding under raw edges and top stitching over Sash and a Dash. And if you like to make t-shirt quilts, go ahead and quilt your blocks and then join them with Sash and a Dash.
Ahoy, quilters! The Go Lighthouse die is ready to guide you to your next quilting project. This nautical applique die is on a 6x12 die board, which means it will work with any Go cutter, including the Go Me. It features 9 unique shapes that together will make a 3¼ by 8-inch lighthouse. You'll soon be creating fun coastal projects like table runners and throw quilts with ease. Bring a touch of the sea to kitchen projects like tea towels and oven mitts, or whip up some classic bibs to keep those little ones ship-shape. Free downloadable outline embroidery in your choice of a satin, blanket, or motif stitches provides extra value and gives your project a professional finish. Let your imagination set sail when you combine the Go Lighthouse with the Go Nautical Medley and the Go Sea Life Medley for plenty of beachy fun. You can also cut materials like cardstock, felt, and craft foam to create no-sew projects and crafts with the ease of an ocean breeze. So sit back and relax. The Go Lighthouse is here to lead you to quilting and crafting bliss. Because at AccuQuilt, we help you cut time so you can quilt and craft more. Quilters, today's show is all about assembling the quilt top and adding borders for this AccuQuilt-Along.
Stay tuned and see how we do it today.
Hi Quilters, I'm Pam Heller, AccuQuilt's cutting expert.
And I'm Erica Botker, AccuQuilt's creativity expert.
Okay, Erica, we're to part 4 of the Go
Yes.
Carolina in My Mind AQS AccuQuilt-Along. Today, we're going to show you how to assemble the quilt top and add sashing and borders.
Yes.
And there's a process.
Yes, there is a process.
And so you make sure you want to
Yes.
download the pattern and follow along with us.
Right. Now, Quilters, in case you missed it, the first show, we started this off with a little introduction.
We did.
And then we went over, we've had classes then the last three Wednesdays working on cutting it out, cutting
Right.
all the pieces, and then sewing all the different blocks, and now we're gonna start it together. This is a project that we talked about how to cut your fabric, we talked about using scraps in your stash.
We used yardage.
We used yardage.
And for the first time ever, our blocks are going to be the exact same.
First time? Probably
Who
the
knows?
last
Probably
time.
the last
Who
time,
knows?
but that's okay.
And then we've talked about what we're doing with this project, which is really cool, is using a block on board die, the Go North Carolina Star, along with blocks made with the Go Cube Mix and Match 5-inch, and used elements to join them all together. We've also had traditional rotary cutting directions available in the original introduction blog posts. We've had tips for organizing your pieces.
Yes.
We've had possible variations. We've sewn our blocks together. We're ready to go, Pam.
Right, and Quilters, it is really beneficial for you to watch all of those previous shows before you start on the Go Carolina in My Mind.
If you've just found us.
Yes, be sure to check it out on AccuQuilt's video gallery, Facebook page, and YouTube pages. Now, I want to talk too that when you go to AccuQuilt.com and download the pattern, it also comes with some additional pages that
Right.
Erica created for us on
Right.
how many pieces you need to cut and which fabric is which.
Yes,
And we talk about those.
Yes, and it's got those charts. They're just going to download and print off along with the pattern.
Yep.
No matter how you cut your blocks, you're going to want those resources handy as well.
Right. Now, we both have completed our 12 blocks,
We
right?
have.
Right?
We have.
And don't you think that this was really a good, like, chain piecing?
Yes, yes. This was a really good scrap buster. Many of the blocks perfect for chain piecing.
Right.
But it was a really good way to get kind of comfortable, I think, with mixing and matching pieces from a bob die
Right.
and your cube.
Right.
Because
So
I think a lot of
here,
times
talk about
people
it here and
ask
we'll
us
talk.
about that, and they're like, well, how do you know how to do that? And this has been a great way to investigate that.
All right, so this is actually our North Carolina Star block.
Right.
This is the block that it makes, 12-inch finished block, that we used our die for. But Erica, let's talk about this because we used our 5-inch cube and the North Carolina Star die.
Right. So every one of these blocks has elements that are the same.
Right.
And we call those the center block units. And then every one has then these different 5-inch blocks in the corners. And we
Right.
could do that because those North Carolina Star corner blocks are finished to 5 inches.
Right.
And so we were able to mix and match those, and we've got different colorways as well. And we've gone with this colorway from Laura Strickland, who designed the project, but
So good.
there's so many options for you on this.
And Quilters, feel free to just make North Carolina Star blocks.
Sure.
I mean, whatever makes you happy.
Sure. So it looks complicated. I think if you've been with us all the way along, you know that you just go step by step, and it's not really.
Right, right. Yeah, it's not a marathon. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Right. So
Okay.
if you haven't sewn all of your blocks together, no worries. This show, like all the others, like we said, are recorded. You can watch them at your own leisure. You can go back if you need to.
Right, you can pause, you can rewind, you can look and see.
Yes.
Be sure and join the AQS Project Parade Facebook page. Eric and I are both members, and we will be posting pics of our blocks and borders as we continue with this project.
Now you can also post pictures of your fabric and blocks as well. Be sure to tag us if you've got questions for us. We're going to do our best to answer them. Along this, a lot of times we will do live questions during the show, but we've had so much territory to cover during these shows that we've been asking you to put those more complex questions in that Facebook page. General questions, our moderators have been able to help you with those answers.
Right, and we did that so that we had time to explain things. Okay.
Yes.
Now, remember that first show? I know it was so long ago. We cut all of our fabric first, which I think is brilliant, because then once you've cut, you know you've cut. Because Erica, I think when you were starting to make some test blocks, you cut just enough for those test blocks.
Right, and then I kept having to go back. So really, it's good to do this.
All right, so remember back in that, you cut some 1.5 and 2.5 inch strips from our fat quarters.
Yes.
Okay, and this is what we're gonna sew together to make our inside border. So look right here. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. Look at this, it matches. Okay, I love it when it matches. All right, it is really important to follow the pattern to put those strips together.
Right, and there is a great chart on page 20 of your pattern. I'm gonna lay it right here, that shows you the colors to sew together. So you'll sew them all together and get all your basket of strips. I put all mine in a basket, and then start piecing them together. Red with the pink, orange with peach, marigold creamsicle, and just start making those 2 strip sets. And then it's gonna step you through sewing them all together so that you have this big piece of fabric you're creating.
Right, which is gonna look like this.
And I'm gonna move these
and
over
I'm
here.
gonna I was just pressed down. However that was, I pressed down. Okay, so we're gonna talk about this. So I'm gonna actually leave these in 3 sections. And I'm gonna tell you why in just a minute. But we're gonna finish sewing this last section together.
Okay.
So always there is a skinny and a fat and a skinny and a fat.
Yes.
If you sew 2 fats together, you're doing it wrong.
Right.
Okay, and follow the pattern to get all the pieces. So I found it was very beneficial to sew the 2, like the bright and the petite.
The bright and the light, just like it has in the pattern.
Yes. Now, I'm just gonna finish out this little section.
Okay.
And I'm gonna take my shoes off. And this was really easy because I love how Laura did this with the fact that there's a bright and a pastel. And I'm gonna do a little back stitch. I'm gonna do a 1/4 inch seam. I did pin it just for you, Erica. I just want to make sure I'm sewing those strips. And we used our 2.5 inch and 1.5 inch strip dies.
Right.
To cut those pieces.
And that was the first piece that I cut out of each color.
Yes, the pattern tells you to do that so that you have enough from your fat quarter.
Right.
Because if you start cutting up your fat quarter, then you might not have a piece long enough.
Yes.
Okay. All right, here we go. Okay. So now I have 3 different sections that are sewn together, and when I'm pressing this, I'm going to press it away.
Okay. You want me to press while
well, actually, I'm going to show you. We're going to talk about cutting one because we can see the ones that are already pressed. Okay. Hold on here. I saw one more pin. I did. I just pinned it so I wouldn't forget. Okay. So now what you want to do is you want to take these sections and you want to cut them into 2.5 inch strips.
Right.
Okay, now, Erica, here's what I discovered. I didn't want to have the whole big long thing on my 2.5 inch strip die.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to let you lay this. Do we have a 2? Oh, we do, right here. Right, because we're going to cut them into 2.5 inch strips.
Okay.
So look right here.
So show me your madness, because I did this differently.
Oh, well, okay, so here we go.
Okay, yes,
Here's
that's
all of
what
our
it's going to
pieces.
look like.
Okay, and then I just turned them like this.
Right. But I sewed mine together.
Oh, I didn't, just because I just felt like it was so much.
It is a lot. It is a lot. I'm
And
gonna
it's
move
a
this
little
just
harder to
tick
get it
over.
lined up. So do you want to cut that section for me?
Sure. Can you grab me, is there a mat
Yeah,
somewhere?
right there. Right down here. Let me
Okay.
grab one.
Because you know, nothing's going to happen
Nothing's
without
going
the
to happen
mat.
without a mat. Okay.
All right.
Yep.
So you just want me to cut this first section
Yeah,
on this.
so Erica's going to make sure that this, and it works really well if I didn't have the big long section to line it up right there at 90.
Okay.
Okay? And then don't worry about this, Erica. Why?
Oh, it's just going to roll on through.
It is. So you sewed your whole section together.
I sewed 2 of them together.
Okay.
I sewed most of it together.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to not have to worry about having so much bulk. And we have to keep our pieces separate today because some of the pieces I have cut and sewn and some of them Erica has cut and sewn.
All right, now we're going to bring this over very carefully so that we can show you what
Yeah.
we've done. Because this part
This is
just
magic.
going to come right off.
Right, and so much static. So now see, we've created little sections of this that, I don't know, I gotta find them here. Here we go. Okay. So we have little sections of it here. Here.
There you go.
There we go. Okay. Now, the other reason I didn't sew my sections together is because look at this. This is going to start on a different end.
Yes. Yeah, you
Okay.
have to.
You just got to be patient.
This is one of those times, quilters, where you're going to need to read your directions.
Okay. All right, so now that we've done that, Erica, talk about what you're going to sew.
So with doing the internal sashing between the blocks, you want to show us
Oh, yes,
where that
I will
is?
go do that. I'm going to
Okay.
put my shoes on. I'm going to trade
Oh,
you places.
I have my shoes.
No,
Oh,
I got
okay.
it. I'm going to trade you places.
Okay. So you go over there. I'm going to come over here.
So there is a white solid border, and then there are sashing cornerstones and sashing sections. Notice these cornerstones do not live here in this corner. Okay? So these actually go in a very specific order, do they not?
They
It's not
do.
the same 4.
They do. So you're going to want to look in your pattern, and if you have trouble discerning how to lay out your fabric, so this is basically, here we've got ours. I was laying them out.
Yes.
And I've got my last one to sew together.
Right.
So these quarter square triangles are from our North Carolina star die. These are shape E
Right.
from our North Carolina star die. I've got them laid out, and again, if there's a question, you can go to your block color reference chart, and you can also go to your pattern, and it's going to step you through. So we remember putting these together. We put together some quarter square units before. I'm going to sew those short sides together.
See if I can find it here in our pattern. Oh, it's one page ahead. Keep going.
And then once I have those short sides together, I'm going to do it this way. We can press those so that we can
Yes.
opposite directions.
So these are the sections that they go, and again, that pattern tells you which colors they are, because honestly, the difference between peach and pastel pink was pretty minimal.
You know, one of the best pro tips that I think, if you don't follow any of our other tips, if you do this one, it's going to be putting little fabric swatches in your pattern so that
Oh,
you
yes.
can keep track.
Here's what we did. Look at this. Because I
colors.
forever was trying to figure out purple and ultraviolet, I swear.
And once I got into it, then I was great.
Yes.
But then, when I walked away from it, then I had to relearn my colors all over again.
Yes.
So again, here we're going to go opposite directions. So if I'm going
Yep.
towards the pink here, then for this one, I'm going to want to go this way.
Oh, you can look at you finger pressing. I'll press for you.
Okay. And again, that's going to help us
And this is
nest those center pieces.
Right, and this is shape E from the North Carolina Star.
And see then, they just kind of lock together.
Now, listen, if you sew some of these wrong, don't unsew them. Just put them in the quilt.
Right. This is, you know, this is kind of like...
this is embellishment.
Yes, and this is definitely formalizing a scrappy look, I guess, because it's a written pattern. So who's to say your scraps have to be in the same order as somebody else's scraps?
Laura Strickland would not, there is no...
She would not want you to
sashing
stress
police.
over that.
Yeah, she would not. And then I'm just going to press it.
Okay,
Okay,
then they'll be all ready.
and then they're all ready for Erica to sew.
There you go.
Okay,
Now, with that done,
I'm going to
Then-
move back over here.
we need sashing strips.
Right.
And for that, you need strips that are 2.5 by 12.5.
I'm going to let you go over there and
Okay.
cut our strips.
Okay. Oh, okay. Where's our strip? Where's our
Right here.
strip die and mat?
Right there. And here's our strip die.
I knew where the fabric was, Pam.
Ah, there we go. And here's our mat.
Okay.
So again, we're going to do 2.5-inch strips.
And then we're going to cut these down to be 12.5 inches so that they are the right length.
Right. And I cut off most of the sash or the salvage.
Because we don't need it anyway.
Nope. Nope. And here's one of our pro tips, and it's actually in the pattern. If you cut one 2.5-inch width of fabric strip in half, then sew it to the half of the other 2 separate strips that you've cut, you will have adequate length to cut 2 side borders. So let me just go over and tell you what that
Right,
means.
so 2 different things going on here. One is the sashing and the other is that outer border.
Right. So these are 2.5 by 12.5-inch strips, right, Erica?
Yes.
Right? And then this is that outer sashing. So they're all going to be cut in that same white, okay? And these
I
are
have a
the
thread.
strips. Did we do good?
Yep.
Okay. So then you would just take your clear plastic ruler,
Yep.
and we'll just cut a few right here. And we'll cut 2.5 by 12.5. Thank you. I'm going to trim down this edge because I got it. And I really feel like the strip die is going to make it so much easier because for sure you're going to cut them straight, right?
Well, that's true.
Okay. And we're going to use our 12.5-inch ruler. Clever us.
We have one of those, you know.
You can get it on the AccuQuilt website. All right, so then I'm going to come right here at 12.5. I'm going to line them up, and they're going to be perfect. And I always cut from the open end first, and then
Yes.
you'll have more
You'll
from
have
the
more.
folded edges. All right, and then Erica, you want to just take some of those strips and show them how it's going to look for that sashing.
Right. So the strips are going to go, you're going to do strips between your blocks. So you're going to lay your block, block, block.
Right.
Then we're going to do strip. And then we're going to put this together with a cornerstone. And I've lost my whole thread here of what was,
Oh,
I
just
think
show 'em.
this was my first one.
Yeah, there we go.
But we're going to go strip, cornerstone, strip, cornerstone,
Strip.
strip. And
Yep.
you're going to build those horizontal sashing strips that way.
Just like that.
So that's your next step.
Erica,
quilters.
I pressed these in opposite directions.
Right, so if you press towards your sashing strips, they're going to be opposite directions. Because these you're going to be pressing this way, this you're going to press this way.
Yeah.
Then again, you can nest your corners as you're putting those together.
Yeah, yep. Okay, I'm going to give these back to you because those belong to you.
Yes,
Okay, and I'm going to come here.
she's going to take the 12.5-inch pieces that she just cut for
I am,
herself.
for myself. Okay, and then this is the pattern you should have already cut. Remember at the very beginning, we told you to cut 7 5.5-inch strips. Cut 5.5. And this is for this outer border here. right, Erica?
Yes.
And look at how cool our Tula Pink fabric looks there.
Yes.
I do love this a lot.
It had all the colors.
It does. Now, I want to give you a little pro tip. Notice that this cornerstone right here, you have to build these first and then add the sashing. Because if you try to do this like this, then you're going to have a Y seam.
Right.
We don't want that.
So those border
The pattern
end,
will tell you.
so the border end strips, you're going to sew onto these border strips before you sew those onto your quilt.
Right. All right, so now let's talk about those little cornerstones, borders. What do we call these?
This is the cornerstone,
Okay,
and then these are the border end units.
right. Okay, so you're gonna have 4 of these. We sewed those already together.
Right, so these, when you do your side seams, you're going to put for your side strips, you'll sew your border end units onto that side piece before you sew it onto your
Yes.
quilt. Then when you do your top and bottom, you're gonna sew your border end pieces on,
Right,
and then
okay.
your cornerstone pieces on.
Right, we'll show you. We have visuals.
We have visuals. So you're gonna sew these onto the end like this, so that this can go on like this. There's that other border, and then this is gonna be like this.
See
So
how we did this?
This is gonna keep us going with no Y seams. You're just gonna be putting it together like you would a normal. Just think about putting together your normal borders. You're gonna put your sides on, then your top and bottom. You're gonna put your sides on, your top and bottom.
Right, yeah, so don't think you wanna sew this whole section together.
Right.
Because then you're gonna be all messed
You
up.
can sew these 2 pieces
You can,
together.
right.
But this goes onto this piece.
Right.
So you just want to follow the pattern. Laura did a great job. Go step by step. Any questions, you'll let
Yeah.
us know.
And I'm gonna tell you to lay everything out before you
Yes.
start.
Yes.
Because then hang it, put it up on the design wall and go, oh yes, this is how it goes.
Right, and if you don't have a design wall, lay it on your floor, lay it on your bed.
Lay it on a bed, wherever you wanna do it.
wherever it works.
Okay, but these cornerstone sections, these corners are the same. There are 4 of them that are the same, and then these are all the same
Right,
as
and
well.
we built these back on the first sewing episode. This was the first thing we sewed so we could get our feet wet with how those North Carolina star pieces went together.
Okay, that's it. All of your sashing and borders are ready to be sewn to the quilt top.
There you go.
So easy. Quilters, you're also going to want to check out the AccuQuilt blog because the lovely Erica will have a post each Wednesday during the AccuQuilt-Along going over the details for the day's events.
Right. Okay, and AQS will be updating their original blog post, so you can check back on that as well.
All right, quilters, before we end part 4 of our Quilt-Along for the Go Carolina in My Mind, we want to announce the winner of today's giveaway.
All right, let's do it. The lucky winner today of $100 in AccuQuilt reward points is, big drum roll please, Vivian M. of Edmonds, Washington.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Hey, we both know where Edmonds, Washington
we do.
is.
And
How
Vivian,
often does that happen?
I also have already put that $100 on your account associated with the email attached to your AccuQuilt account.
Well,
I
there
know,
you
I'm
go.
excited. Quilters, don't forget we have plenty of special offers available for you today on our website.
And to get an order in, open a new tab in your browser, go to AccuQuilt.com and check out current deals and place an order. You can also visit your local AccuQuilt retailer.
Remember, if you haven't started, it's okay. Just start from the first show and keep working with
Absolutely.
us. Now, next week is Show and Tell. So be sure and join the AQS Project Parade Facebook page. Remember, Eric and I are members. We're going to be posting pics of our blocks and borders. We're also going to comment on yours.
There you go. So we want to see yours as well. Be sure to tag them with hashtag AQSews.
Yes.
And tag us if you've got any questions for us. We'll do our best to answer them for you.
All right, Quilters, it's time for us to get ready for our next show. We hope today's show is just what you needed to inspire you to sew your sashing and borders for the Go Carolina in My Mind quilt.
See you next time.
Thanks so much for watching. To learn more about your quilting craft, be sure to follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for live events every Tuesday and Wednesday. You can check out the events page on the AccuQuilt website for more details on upcoming shows. And if you're looking for even more inspiration, visit our blog for exclusive tutorials filled with tips and tricks. And remember, at AccuQuilt, we help you cut time so you can quilt more.
Be sure to join us on Tuesday, September 3rd at 12 noon Central Time as we launch the September Die to Try.
And be sure to join me every Wednesday at 12 noon Central Time for AccuQuilt Live. We have so much fun. Next time, we're having show and tell for this AQS AccuQuilt-Along.